of the western sky comes Sky King. As we say here in the West.
You know, sometimes I just can't get these freaking banners off. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Classic Television SmackDown. This week, it's my turn, which means this show is going to suck. So if you are banning us right now, that's all well and fine. We understand. It's me doing it, and you're just going to have to bear with it. Hey, with my regular crew, I got some things I want to say to everybody this evening. So with my fantastic crew here, Rose, Jerome, and myself, we had a discussion almost, and we're going to get to our show in a minute, but you know, I need for you guys to chime in. If you're in our chat room, please let us know you're there. Say hello to us, whatever. We know Christmas. This is actually not the last show for NBL Entertainment or HWWF Network. It's the last Classic Television SmackDown. Tomorrow, we have two incredible shows that's happening. One, of course, is Saturday Morning Cartoon. Whose turn is it? Whose turn? Who's doing that? That's you, Rose, right?
Tomorrow. I'm doing tomorrow.
Okay. We have an incredible Saturday morning cartoon show. And then at noon, we have what we're calling, which we've always calling, because this is our third outing, is going to be the kids show. So we're going to have four incredible children, one as far away as Ireland, who's going to come on and just going to say whatever the heck they want. And if any one of these children belong to you, then you may discover some new things, and I'm going to ask them some serious questions, okay? Like,
I'm not going to be in the room.
Yeah. It's
okay,
like,
I'm leaving.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Gwen, how long is your dad in the bathroom? Stuff like that, okay? So Classic Television SmackDown today, and then, of course, Sunday at 8 p.m., we're going to have Roses and Reactions with lovely Rosemary Rose and Rachel. They're going to be doing their show on Sundays, typically on Saturdays, but remember, it's going to be Sunday. Now, if anything is like your office right now, my boss is so into holiday mode that we can't get any work done. This dude gets at least 5 to 6 Amazon deliveries a day. A day. And
you know how much I hate that, right?
Oh, yeah, I know. I was thinking about you when I knew this was kind of like you poor drivers. And the drivers, they come in and they talk to us sometimes. Hey, thanks, guys. Hey, happy holiday. And I have to apologize. I'm so sorry. We didn't want him as a boss, but he has nothing else to do. So, you know, if everybody's going into holiday mode, we're going to go into holiday mode as well. In fact, our next show after Sunday will not be seen until January 15th. We're going to take a very short hiatus, just pretty much to stretch our wing. My team has expressed to me that, and I agree to them, and this is one of the things I also want to say to you guys too, that this show is an outlet for our team. This is, if you're not sitting on the couch trying to catch up with every freaking streaming service show that's out there right now, at least you can watch us and relive your childhood when there was only 3 channels, when there was only 3, and you had to get up and walk across the room to change to any one of them. Okay.
Oh, no. I was my father's remote control.
Oh, I forgot. You're right. For those of us that have children, you're right. You did have some sort of automatic device that you can put in.
Jerome, go change the channel. Jerome, go hold the rabbit ears.
But Daddy, Lassie's on. You know, but I want to watch The Wonderful World of Color. Relive your childhood, guys. This is what we do. This is what this show is about. And since it's my turn this year, this is going to be a multi-part episode, only because there's no way that we can cover everything that I'm going to be talking about today in one show, 1 hour, 90 minutes, whatever it is. Where are my notes? Dagnabbit. Okay, there are my notes. Okay, so let's talk to Rose real quick. Rose,
Yes.
are you ready for Christmas? And can you tell us a little bit about your show tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.?
Okay. No, I don't think I'm ever ready for Christmas. But, we do have lights on the house for the first time in 13 years. Per Rachel's request, we did it for her.
Wow.
So we went and bought all new lights and put them up. We don't have a tree because we have so many cats. It's just pointless. So she wanted lights. She's like, I'm graduating this year. Can we at least have holiday lights? So tomorrow's show, we're gonna do a Christmas show. We're gonna have it's called Christmas Old and New. We're gonna have some classic cartoons and some new favorites. So join us for some fun. We're gonna have a good time. Sunday night, Rachel and I are doing our holiday show. We're gonna talk about movies. We might have a little bit of trivia. We're putting it together, and I hope you enjoy it. We're doing it on Sunday night, special night and time. Well, it's 8 o'clock, but special night only because Rachel had finals this week, and she was so slammed that I threw together a banner, which is not the best, but she still wanted to do the show. I said, do you want to do the show? And she's like, we absolutely have to do it. So we're doing a show. Sunday night at 8. Please be there.
And I don't care.
Go ahead, Jerome.
I don't care what anyone says. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
Well, we'll find out for
how
sure.
dare you? What are you talking about, man? I mean,
that's going to be part of the debate Sunday night. We're going to see where everybody falls on that one.
Yeah, is Die Hard a Christmas show or not? That's very interesting. If you guys are in your chat room, bellow up, say hello to us so we can put your greetings up on the screen. I'm gonna love your show. Now tell me, Sunday night, you're butting up against my football, so I'm gonna have to have your show on while I'm watching, my games. How dare you do a show on Sunday night? How dare you? I'm just saying.
So also, I have a little news that
coincides
with our show tonight. Tonight.
Go.
Sadly, we have lost an actor who became a trivia question, and that was the actor who played Chuck Cunningham.
Oh, yes. The one season Chuck Cunningham?
Yeah, the older brother of Richie Cunningham of Happy Days, who disappeared and nobody talked about him after the first season.
Yes. But I did see something probably on MeTV on their website of all the other roles.
Oh, yeah, he was a prolific actor.
And whatever, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was Richie Cunningham's brother. I totally forgot.
I didn't know that I think he was in a couple of films of Ron Howard's.
I think he was.
Yes, probably so. Yeah, that's a good way for Ron to make up to Chuck, even though Ron he had nothing to do with Happy Days, but at least he made up to Chuck. And hey, dude, I know you were out in the cold for a while. Why don't you come and do a movie with me? But yeah, that's so much trivia. That's the thing with classic television SmackDown. We got so much history, everything behind us. It's not a lot of things that we're thinking of currently, unless it was superhero related. But in the past, there was such a thing. Okay, believe it or not, and this is comes up to mind. There's such a thing as situation comedies. Situation comedies, if you break it down, if you slightly abbreviate it a bit, comes up to the word sitcom. Okay, sitcom. The word sitcom, everybody knows, and it's basically comedies that are based around particular situations. And this is the beginning and the start of my show. So I'm going to put my face on full screen here while I fumble for my notes, which I know I'm going to get wrong. Okay, there are a number of shows that started way back when that were comedic, that were happy, that were funny. And I'm going to start off with this first one right now. The hardest part about me doing this show is that I'm also operating the board. So to try to start videos, put up photos, and actually read my script at the same time is nightmarish. So please, I've already had one beer. That's all. I figure that's enough to perk me up. So okay, here we go. So the first one, guys, regardless of whether you've heard or watched this, and I wish you guys would pop up in the chat room. You might get another chat room here, but the first one, if you everyone I think have heard of this show before. And this show, believe it or not, I'm going to let Jerome, I know you know it, but don't say anything yet. I want to see if Rose knows this. This is going to be the first show I'm going to talk about, okay? Rose, do you know what this show is?
Yeah, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I grew up watching this show. Yes.
Okay. And what is this show, Rose?
That's the Honeymooners.
Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Honeymooners, and this is going to be my first for my segment here. It's shocking to discover. Okay, by the way, I got these notes from a writer who actually writes for AARP magazine. How appropriate that we're going back in time. All the old people are probably watching this show right now, but out of AARP. Okay, it's shocking to discover that the Honeymooners ran only for one season. It's like a quarterback winning a Super Bowl in his rookie season, then retiring. Anchored by Jackie Gleason, it was a reassuring blue-collar show that revealed to us every week that, yes, Gleason's bus driver, Ralph Cramden, and his wife, Audrey Meadows' Alice, didn't have much, but they were in love. The same goes for the neighbors Ed Norton, played by Art Carney, and Trixie, played by Joyce Randolph. For them, each punchline felt like payday. And the Honeymooners showed us all that only laughter and love will get you through hard times. That is the Honeymooners. So let's go ahead and watch this clip. I didn't have this geared up in time. My apologies on that. And this is the Honeymooners, guys.
Copper that's waiting downstairs. What about him, huh?
Nothing. He'll be gone in the morning.
But we can't stay here all night.
Why not? We got the police protecting us.
Please, please, go away. We won't say anything.
Look, I just proved to you I wasn't going to say
Shut
anything.
up!
Look, Danny, what about Marty in the
Don't
car?
worry about Marty. He was smart enough to duck when the cops showed. He'll come back when they're gone.
Look,
Don't you?
I don't like this. I don't like the idea of staying here all night.
I didn't ask you what you liked.
Please, please, will you go away?
All right.
I want your...
Stick him up. Get him up. Who is it?
Hey, Charlie, have you got my water pistol in here?
Guys, the Honeymooners played between 1955 and 1956. Please raise your hand if you were alive. Mike made a good point. Trixie is the only one still alive. And isn't that amazing? All right, you guys still there? Okay.
What I'm amazed at is that it was only one season. Okay. I when I was a kid, this show would come on after the news. So in the summertime when I could stay up late, this was what was on. I watched this show like crazy, and I believe it still runs in New York, like on the weekends. There's like a New York syndication show where it still runs. So I can't believe it was only one season. It seems like much longer than that.
It actually is longer than one season, because what most people don't know was this started off as a reoccurring sketch on the Jackie Gleason show.
Right.
Okay. So a lot of stuff that you've seen, the so-called lost episodes, are actually sketches from his variety show that he had.
Oh, I never knew that. Okay.
Yeah. Now, this show was very, very popular. Like you said, it even appeared in other movies. There's a Brandon Fraser film where they used it as a form, where they watched it as a form of entertainment while being stuck in a bomb shelter. And I can't blast from the past.
Yeah, and I think Warner Brothers actually created an animated version of it, next to Tom and Jerry or something like that, where they were mice. It was a heavy set mice.
I saw that one.
Yeah. So that's all right. So let's go ahead. So that was the Honeymooners. Let's move on to our next one right now. Now, in the same year, basically, actually earlier than the Honeymooners, there was another popular show. Okay, and this show was called I Love Lucy. Okay. Lucille Ball remains the alpha and omega of slapstick TV comedians.
I think I've heard of that show.
Even in black and white, her red hair always seems to be on fire. The premise of the show couldn't be simpler. Latin band leader Ricky Ricardo, who was, of course, Lucille Ball's real-life husband, Desi Arnaz, has to keep bailing his zany wife, Lucy, out of trouble. Will she ever learn her lesson? Of course not. Whether she's struggling to keep pace with the conveyor belt or stomping grapes, Lucy is the ever-moving eye of a comedy hurricane. It's impossible not to love Lucy, or frankly, their Buskinski next-door neighbors, Fred and Ethel Mertz. So take a picture of I Love Lucy here, and we see this constantly. You really will never get away from Lucy. So.
California, here I come, right back where I started from. You're mine, mine, all mine!
It's been years since we sat in a movie with your arm around my waist.
It's been years since my arm reached around your waist.
She said my mother looks like a weasel.
Apologize, Ethel. No.
Oh, come on, Ethel. Tell him you're sorry.
Well, I'm sorry your mother looks like a weasel.
Now look, the next time that we get a customer in here, will you please try to get the order right? We had 4 customers in here today, and you loused up every one of their orders.
Well, it's hard to keep track of that many orders.
What are you talking about? They were each here at different times.
Well, I'm doing my best. You have to have experience for this kind of work, and I've never done it before.
Oh, now, honey, don't cry. You'll get the food all salty.
Bonus dies.
No, dear. It's not quite that. It's not Buenos Dias. It's Buenos Dias.
Oh, Buenos Dias.
Buenos Dias.
Buenos Dias.
That's it. Oh, but you can't use it now anyway because it's night outside. You gotta say noches.
Noches.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
That's right. Good. How are you?
Fine, I'm a little nervous.
In Spanish, how are you?
Oh, how are you?
Let her roll!
Oh, this is easier. Yeah, we can handle this, okay? Listen, Ethel, I think this... I think we're fighting a losing game. Here she comes.
Fine, you're doing splendidly. Speed it up!
I think everyone in the world has seen I Love Lucy. Rose, of course, you have too, right?
Oh yeah, it's nonstop when I was a kid. Yeah, no, it seemed to be always on.
And that's one of my favorite episodes, you know, because besides that and the stomping the grapes, if you guys remember that scene,
Oh
when we
yeah.
were over in Italy and she was stomping the grapes. But that was I Love Lucy, and everyone. This is a good episode too. I love this when she was, pretty much.
Vita Vegemite.
Yeah.
Vegemite.
She got trashed. That was what I loved. She got trashed while doing that.
Yeah. Okay. I got a story for you guys. So I got a routine in the morning when I get up. My head clock goes off before my alarms go off, and I still have to speak to my alarms to shut up when it goes off because I'm already awake. All right. I have a routine where at 5:30, I literally lay on my back until 6. Okay. My alarm says my head clock goes off. I get in the shower at 6. But at 6:30, I'm watching My Three Sons. Okay. My Three Sons have become a routine for me every morning before I leave the house to go to work. There are 2 versions of My Three Sons because there is Charlie, which is the version a lot of people remember when My Three Sons was in color, when it was only the 3 sons and one of the sons was no longer there because Ernie had joined the family. But the story is about Bub. Bub, who we show here, which is actually, oops, sorry, wrong one there, who was William Frawley, I think his name was. He was fired from My Three Sons. He did join My Three Sons in the early days as basically the mother hen, whatever. And he was literally their grandfather, okay? But Bub, he joined My Three Sons after I Love Lucy. Bub, or shall we say in real life, William Frawley, had a drinking problem. He had a hard time remembering his lines. He was a little bit abusive on set sometimes because he was literally drunk, and they removed him. And that's how Charlie, who I'm remembering that actor's name, joined the family as Uncle Charlie. Okay, so Bub was kicked off the series, and this is what's currently on now, MeTV in the morning, is the version with Bub, which is William Frawley. And occasionally I would try to kind of stare and focus to see if he's staggering or if he's slurring his lines or anything like that, because the history is he was an alcoholic on the set.
Well, I never knew he was on My Three Sons.
Oh yeah, they're playing.
I remember Uncle Charlie. That's who I remember.
Yeah, it's a lot of episodes. I didn't do my research on exactly how many episodes he did of My Three Sons, but it's pretty current with Tim Considine, who's in there. He got fired from the show as well because he had a fallout with the director, and they got rid of him. And then eventually it went into color, My Three Sons, and then the introduction of Ernie, the youngest boy. But it's really interesting to seeing a young Chip who must have been 8 years old or something in that. In the beginning, he had blonde hair, so he's in the show with all blonde hair. Eventually, which I'm seeing now, and as of this morning, he now has dark hair, and it's like, okay, well, they did some shows there. So, right. Thank you, Mike. Yes. William Demarest. Yeah. Took over as Uncle Charlie. So it's interesting to know a little bit of history of My Three Sons. And I actually love that show. Love that show. I remember seeing it when I was a kid, at night. Go ahead, Jerome.
Back to Lucy.
Okay.
First off, my favorite episode was the one with George Reeves making the guest appearance as Superman.
Yeah, Superman. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's out on the ledge. He goes out to get her because everybody thinks she's trying to kill herself. Yeah.
Right. But a couple of things behind the scenes, though, that most people may not be aware of was that Desi Arnaz was brilliant. It was this brilliant guy. The birth of Desi Jr. On the show was one of the highest rated shows of all time. And they had to take, I think it was a 4 or 6 week maternity break. So after the birth of her child, and they didn't know what they were going to do, the networks. So Desi recommended rerunning some shows. And that's where we got the rerun. It was from Desi Arnaz.
Wow. I did not know that.
Wow. Yeah. And Desi Lou Studios, which Lucy was running at the time, is also responsible for Mission Impossible and Star Trek.
Okay. All right. Moving on. We're going to go on to our next series here. And this was one of my favorite classic situation comedies back then. And that was the Dick Van Dyke Show. Dick Van Dyke Show came on between 1961 and 1966. Created by Carl Reiner, and based on his experiences writing for Sid Caesar's Your Show of Shows in the 1950s, This is the moment when the sitcom really came of age and showed that sometimes you could get even bigger laughs by being subtle. Also, that they could be set in a workplace. Dick Van Dyke is Rob Petrie, a TV comedy writer who paces his office trying to be funny with his co-writers Maury Amsterdam and Rose Marie, and then goes home and is unintentionally hilarious with his wife, played by Mary Tyler Moore. There were certainly funny sitcoms before this one, but none this shore and sophisticated. So Dick Van Dyke was an incredible series back in the day. Let me see if I can find. I got it right here. That incredible cast. Believe it or not, when I was doing conventions here in Florida for a guy named Joe Motes, we did the Volcon conventions down here. Joe Motes was very, very good friends with Maury Amsterdam. He even showed up at a few conventions in his elderly age at the time. And it was really, I didn't know who the guy was at one time until somebody said, oh, it's Maury Amsterdam. I knew the name almost immediately. And it's like Dick Van Dyke, I would say, oh, Dick Van Dyke, So Maury Amsterdam was part of the Dick Van Dyke Show. Of course, the lovely Rob Petrie and his wife, Laura, played by Mary Tyler Moore. Laura was an impeccable dancer, and she had the opportunity. In fact, the producers encouraged that she would, sing and dance during some of the shows. Excuse me, guys, my latent illness is popping up. So let's watch Dick Van Dyke. This is one of my favorite, if not funniest, if not weirdest freaking episodes. Take a look at this.
Walnuts.
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 Stand by, guys.
Walnuts.
I'm on it. I need to get this off the screen first. There it is. All right, here we go.
Walnuts.
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 Walnut.
Walnuts.
Walnuts.
Walnuts. A house full of walnuts.
A house full of walnuts.
All right, that was a quick clip of that episode, which was kind of science fiction based, if you guys have ever seen it. Have you ever seen that episode before, Rose?
I don't remember that episode.
The well-known Walnut episode of Dick Van Dyke. It is, oh, wow, yeah. It is unbelievable. It was fantastic. Jerome, do you remember that episode? Oh, hold on. I'll unmute you. Oh, I can't. You got to do it.
Sorry. It is. I watched it many times. It is rated as one of the all-time funniest episodes of Situation Comedy by TV Guide. Absolutely hysterical. Not my personal favorite, but it is hysterical.
Yes. One thing that we're going to cover during this segment here is the spinoff. Okay, the people. I don't literally have all of the shows that were spun by some of the most well-known shows, but I do and had to do this one. And if you don't know who this lovely lady is back in the day and her series, she is, in fact, not a spinoff of Dick Van Dyke. It's just another show, okay, that she headed up. She was not Laura Petrie in this spinoff. She was, in fact, the wonderful, beautiful, incredible Mary Tyler Moore, okay, and her cast of characters. And you can basically look at this picture and you can call off the spinoff, or you can call off where other people went. Ted Knight himself, the guy that's on the far right, who was the newsman, did a lot of voiceover work for DC Comics classic cartoons. Aquaman, Green Lantern, Super Friend. You will hear his voice all over the freaking place. Of course, we know Gavin McLeod, who's on the far left there. He went on to be the captain of the Love Boat. And of course, up top, you see the two spin-off actors. Actually, in the middle, Ted Grant himself had a spin-off, and it was not a situation comedy. It was, in fact, a drama. Okay, and what was the name of that series? Was it Ted
Lou
Grant?
Lou Grant.
Lou Grant.
I'm sorry.
Lou Grant. It was a newspaper in Los Angeles.
Right. And of course, you see Phyllis on the right, and then you got Rhoda on the left. And they all went off.
She had her own spinoff.
Yes, they all went off to be very, very successful with their spinoffs, and it's just fantastic. So Mary Tyler Moore. I love this show. And I was young, of course, when I liked it, but it was just something about this show that I took to. The humor in it alone was just fabulous. And I'm like, oh my God, look at this.
And it had young Betty White.
Yep, Betty White, the immortal Betty White. You always have to say that in front of her name. God bless her soul, but she's still here. But I'm just saying, my God, girl, really.
Yeah, she's getting 100 in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, this is a clip from one of the most well-known episodes. Okay, I don't think I have it all, and I didn't even look through this all the way. So let's just take a look at this. I'm sure you guys will remember it.
Oh, my. Oh, dear.
Mr. Grant?
Oh, Lord.
Mr. Grant?
Something terrible has happened.
What is it, Lou?
Someone we all know is dead.
What?
Who? No, I won't tell you about it now. I don't want to upset you.
Mr. Grant?
Where's Ted? I gotta tell Ted.
He's on the air. Well, what happened, Lou? Who died? Will you tell us?
Chuckles. Chuckles the clown is dead. It was a freak accident. He went to the parade dressed as Peter Peanut. And a rogue elephant tried to show him. Chuckles worked for this station for 20 years. The least we can do is put together some kind of tribute to him.
Well, I think I got a title for it. Requiem for a Peanut.
That isn't very respectful, Murray.
I'm sorry, Lou, but I can't help it. I mean, I've been coming up with dumb jokes about it ever since you broke the news to us yesterday afternoon.
What a shock.
It sure was.
A real tragedy.
Terrible thing.
Lucky more people weren't hurt. Lucky that elephant didn't go after somebody else.
That's right. After all, you know how hard it is to stop after just one peanut.
That's not funny, Murphy. Hey, what are we laughing at? Chuckles.
Amazing. Who can turn a world on with a smile? Mary, Lou, Ted, Mary, Rhoda, Phyllis, and Sue Ann. That's who. Here it is, the greatest collection of three-dimension characters and character actors in TV history. The writing is top-notch. The jokes are perfection. The timing is impeccable. But what makes the Mary Tyler Moore better than the sum of its parts is that it showed us a single woman living her life on her own terms. Moore, who cut her sitcom chops on the Dick Van Dyke Show, is an associate producer at a small-time Minneapolis TV station populated by a gruff boss, of course, Ed Asner's Lou, a boob anchor, Ted Knight's Ted, a sarcastic writer, Gavin McLeod's Murray, and a randy, happy homemaker, Betty White's Sue Ann. Along with her neighbors, Rhoda and Phyllis, Mary showed us a 1970s woman who, despite everything stacked against her, was going to make it after all. So that was Mary Tyler Moore. Rose, going to you. How much of this show have you watched? Because I'm sure you know Mary Tyler Moore.
I've seen probably every episode. The great thing about growing up in the 70s and the 80s is that these shows, because they were so popular, they flooded the syndication. So I saw, they play it back to back, and you know what? It's one of the best casts ever put on television. One of the best writing ever on TV, hands down.
Jerome?
Without a doubt, I've seen it. Not as much as Rose has, for a variety of reasons, but yeah. And ironically, I did not see the episode we just showed the clip from until almost the 90s.
Oh wow, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
I think that got an Emmy. That
It did, and it also got rated by a lot of people as the funniest sitcom episode ever.
Yeah, and I didn't show the funeral scene because if you haven't seen the funeral scene, then you're lost. You're just lost.
Yeah. I do remember the episode election night when the power went out.
Oh yeah,
and that was hysterical. And it had at the ending, it had Chuckles also, the clown, for there.
Yeah,
great show. Just so much to talk about behind the scenes on that show that happened, and very tight cast.
I think what was unique about this show for its time, you had both a workplace comedy and then a friendship comedy at home, because Rhoda and Phyllis didn't work at the station. Sometimes they'd go over and visit.
Yeah.
You had this contrast, and sometimes the work life mixed with the home life and vice versa.
Yeah.
Mary's dating life was a disaster.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I mean, it was just, you could just do a sitcom alone on her dating life and her home life.
What was Sue? Not Sue Ann. Phil. What was Phyllis's boyfriend name? Something like Lars or
Lars. That's it. Lars.
Was it Lars? It was in fact Lars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Phyllis would always come down and always speak of Lars. Of course, characters we've never seen.
Now,
when Rhoda went on and got her show, she ended up getting married as well. So we saw her boyfriends. And of course,
now I gotta say, one of the most memorable characters of all time which was on the Rhoda show, on Valerie Harper's show, Rhoda, was never seen.
Yeah.
Okay, now those who don't know who that is, that's Carlton the
Doorman. Yeah.
And I think he was also on Mary Tyler Moore. I don't remember if he was or not.
I'm not sure. Could have been as well, but yeah. All right, moving on to our next one. So look, this next show needs no description, no explanation, nothing. It's one of the longest series. We literally watch children grow up in this show. Take a look at this, and you will know exactly what I was talking about. You don't have to describe these guys at all. So here we go.
Here's the story of a lovely lady who was bringing up 3 very lovely girls. All of them had hair of gold, like their mother, the youngest one in curls.
It's the story of a man named Brady who was busy with 3 boys of his own. They were 4 men living all together, yet they were all alone. Till the one day when the lady met this fellow, and they knew that it was much more than a hunch, that this group must somehow form a family. That's the way we all became the Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch. That's the way we became the Brady Bunch.
Ladies and gentlemen,
that was cool.
That was 5 seasons of the Brady Bunch.
Wow,
Literally,
I thought it ran longer than that, to be honest.
I thought it did too, to be honest with you. But those kids grew up. I guess when they all
seasons
started.
were longer back then. We had 24, 26 episodes. It's not like today.
Yeah. It's like Sundays they do a Brady Bunch marathon every Sunday on MeTV, for God's sakes, and it's like, okay, if I see Marsha get hit in the news one more time, if freaking Greg can't stay on that damn surfboard, I mean, take that damn tiki thing off from around your neck there, we know those episodes by heart, and we grew up with the Bradys because they're literally about our age anyway.
Yeah.
If you think about it,
it was Friday nights. You'll watch it Friday nights, and for a short time, what was the show after the Brady Bunch?
Family? No, I don't know.
The Partridge Family.
Oh, come along and get on.
Come on, get happy. Yeah,
I love that show too. I had
Okay, wait a second. I got a question for you, Mark. I got a question for you.
Go for it, girl.
Your favorite Brady girl.
Ooh, tough call.
Come on.
Okay.
I think I know. I think I know, but
Jan was so damn irritating. She was very cute, but I don't think I could sit on a couch for 10 minutes with that chick. It's, of course, Marsha. You know, and it's funny.
He's right. It always was Marsha. Marsha.
It's got to be Marsha. And I'm sorry, but I was into Marsha. I don't know what boy wasn't into Marsha. Jan, and when they did a great remake theatrically, they did the movies.
Oh yes, I love that movie.
Like, that is a fantastic parody of a comedy series. They got the girls down pat. Even Marsha. Marsha was wow. When they did the Davy Jones episode
that's what I was going to say. That's my favorite little scene in that movie.
But they had some really good guest stars. I mean, like you said, they had Davy Jones.
Yeah.
They had Joe Namath, who was huge at the time.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they had Joe Namath.
They had my favorite was when they brought in Phyllis Diller.
Oh, hey, and Emma Jean Coco was my favorite aunt. I mean, she was, and that was.
That was Emma Jean Coco, not Phyllis Diller. It was Emma Jean Coco.
That's what I said. Yeah. Emma Jean Coco. That's what you meant was Emma Jean Coco. Yes, you're right. How Jan worshipped her so much and wanted to be like her until she saw her in person and kind of thought she was kind of ugly and
old,
And because they all said, "Oh, you're going to grow up to look like your aunt," you know, and here goes the aunt. So
but the aunt had led an incredible life.
Oh my God, and she was rich too, you know. But she traveled the world.
She talks about how she's good friends with Wilt Chamberlain, who was hugely popular at the time.
Dated ambassadors and people of state. It was just absolutely a fantastic episode. That is one of my favorite.
That is a quintessential 70s TV show.
All right. Speaking of 70s, we're moving up decade-wise, and I'm going to show you guys, or literally, I'm going to tell you guys about this show first. It didn't start off as a success when it first debuted, but after a while, it went on between 1989 and 1998. Okay, literally 10 years worth. How could a show about nothing find so much to make small talk about? The contest, yada yada yada, the soup Nazi, the list goes on. Elaine, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who's actually pretty freaking well off in her own right. She didn't need to be an actress. George, who was Jason Alexander, and hipster doofus Kramer. You know, I just got called a hipster recently. I actually took that as a compliment. You know, I wasn't sure what it meant, to be honest with you, but you know, back in those days, if you want to use the word hipster, it's like you're hip to everything. You know, so I was called a hipster, and I thought the guy was trying to use it as kind of an insult, not really a dangerous insult, but you know, he called me that. But anyway, so a show about nothing, and of course you had, unfortunately, Kramer. Okay, Kramer made a big, huge mistake in his career, a definite no-no, but you know, that's what happens. I still thought he was incredibly funny, and I look at his acting skill rather than his personal life. But with him storming in and out of your apartment all the time, you know, I don't know why Seinfeld didn't keep his door locked, but I'm assuming because he didn't need to. You had to buzz yourself in the first place. So anybody who's downstairs trying to be buzzed in, you know where they're going. So why leave the door unlocked upstairs? I guess that's the mentality. So anyway, Seinfeld, I never watched when it started, its first season. Eventually it grew on me. But I want you guys to watch this episode because this is one of my favorite episodes. I was dazzled that they actually did this. I was embarrassed as all get out that our game was being let out. And you'll know exactly what I'm talking about after when you see this. Where am I? It's got to be this one. Yeah, there you go.
There's a naked woman across the street. Where?
Second floor from the top. See the window on the left?
Wow. Who walks around the house like that?
Maybe she's a nudist. You know those nudist colony people.
Yeah. But let me ask you a question. In these nudist colonies, do they eat naked in the dining room?
I would imagine it's all naked.
What about the chambermaids? Are they naked too?
They're naked. The gardener's naked. Bellhops. One big nudorama. Hey.
Hey.
Well, where's my money? Who caved?
Not me.
Not me.
What are you looking at?
There's a naked woman across the street.
This is gonna be the easiest money I've ever made in my life. So my friend Joyce is teaching an aerobics class. I'm gonna go tonight.
Yeah, well, the waitress should have taken it back.
So then I got a call this morning. You know, I was chosen to go on the space shuttle. We're going to Mars.
Uh-huh.
Have a good time.
I'm out.
What?
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out of the contest.
You're out?
Yeah.
Wow, that was fast.
Well, it was that woman across the street. You know, you better be careful, buddy. She's gonna get you next.
And then there were three.
Like I was saying, I don't know what to say to a woman the next day if she came up to me and asked me, what was that Seinfeld episode all about? Rose, you're hip, right? You got it, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I think I was all right, yeah. It was a funny freaking episode because it took me a while to figure out what they were talking about.
King of the Castle.
Say again?
King of the Castle.
King of the Castle, yes. And then with Kramer rushing in, basically saying, I'm out, in all honesty, that would have been me. That would have been me. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're still watching us, I'm assuming we got knocked off somewhere. But I am on the YouTube channel, and we're still running. So if you can hear us, run over to the YouTube channel and hop back in again.
Well, we're on Facebook because I'm watching right now, as a matter of fact, on your page.
Okay, that's good. Hey, Mike.
And we want to say hi to Michael Jan Freeman.
Oh, hello.
Why? Can you see him?
Yeah, he just said he was partial to Jeannie.
Which Facebook? Because I can't see him in our chat.
Michael, I was on Mark B. Lee's page.
Yeah, Mike, go to our page for me, please, buddy. I like to see your quotes, your text, and pop them up. So because we're running on 6 to 8 platforms, sometimes it's supposed to show me all comments and it does not. So nonetheless, we'll continue on with our show. That was Seinfeld. And the follow-up with Seinfeld, guys, in the year between 1982 and 1993. Now, remember, Seinfeld was on 89 to 98. This show was on 92 to 93. NBC basically ruled the television network for many, many years because of their kick butt sitcoms that they had. And I was so happy. What was the phrase for Thursday nights, guys? Anybody?
Must see TV.
Thank you. Very good.
By the way, Michael just asked a question. Where did you want him to go? Is that the MBL Entertainment?
Go to my page. I guess go to my page, Michael, and open up that link. I guess. Yeah. My personal page.
Yeah. It was called Must See TV.
Must See TV. I love Thursday night from 8 to 11. It was incredible series that were on. And speaking of incredible series, let me tell you about this one that I happened to visit one year just to check it out. But it was set in a Boston bar. Run by former Red Sox pitcher and womanizer Sam Malone, who of course was played by Ted Danson, which I still like as one of my favorite actors, by the way. The run of the show can be broken into two halves. The first featuring the romantic tension between Sam and the hot grad student turned waitress Diane. The second featuring the sexual tension between Sam and hilarious train wreck Rebecca. The fact that it's hard to pick which is better says a lot about how exquisite this show is and how incredible its supporting cast, George Wendt, John Ratzenberger, Ray Perlman, Nicholas Colasanto, Woody Harrelson, Kelsey Grammer, Bebe Neuwirth is. So without any further ado, everybody knows the song by heart. So that's why I kind of stayed away from playing it. But check out this clip for me here. Where are we, guys? Here we go.
Now, you beat me fair and square, so, all right, let me buy you a beer. Excuse me, I was sitting there.
Oh, there was no one here when we came in.
No, I mean yesterday. And really, since the Ford administration.
We're just waiting for our table up at Melville's.
So you'll move?
Look, there's lots of other stools.
Look, sounds good. I'm Norm.
I'm Jeffrey. This is Hillary.
It's nice to meet you. What do you do, Norm?
I sit there.
Well, it's nice meeting you.
Look, this is. We're running out of time here. He's already 2 stages beyond anything I've seen before, so I think you better give him the stool. I'm sorry, we're sitting here.
What's all the commotion about? Who cares? Set him up, Wood.
Classic. I mean, the fact, I got a stool at my local cafe down the street from my office that I go to occasionally, but not every day. And, okay, so we got knocked off of YouTube. Shame on you. Anyway, I knew this would happen when we go through a lot of these NBC sitcoms, but no big deal. So we're still running on Facebook, right, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So,
I gotta say, my favorite part of that show was whenever Norm would walk in the door.
Norm!
Right, now you get the Norm thing, but they'd ask him something, and he'd always come back with a quip thing. It's like, you know, how's life in the fast lane? And you go, it's like, I don't know, I can't find the on-ramp. Or, something about a dog-eat-dog world, and I'm wearing milk-bone underwear,
shorts. Yeah.
yeah. Hey, you're there.
Oh, man, we gotta bring this boy on.
You want to come on, Michael? Is that what you want to do? You want to come on air? Type it if you want to. Hey, Mike, good you're still here. You were quiet. We'll take a quick break here and see what Michael Jan Freeman wants to do. In the meantime, we got about 4 more to show you guys. So let's just show you a commercial, especially for tomorrow morning. Hey, Mike, I'm tracking you down. I'm sending you a link. So as soon as you get it, pop on in, buddy. There you go. And I am sending you the link. You know how this works. It's not the first time you've been on one of my shows.
No.
So we'll wait for you. All right. So, so Cheers was incredible. I don't really know who I like better, either Shelley Long's character or Christy Alley's character. Chrissy Alley was so hot. Those freaking eyes, especially when she was in Star Trek, you know. And Kelly was just so smart. And I'm drawn to smart women. You know, that's why I like Rose.
What was funny was if you looked at them, they were two different characters to begin with.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think the writing was really stronger with the Shelley Long character because she was such a freaking mess.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, Mike, put your headphones on. Mike, put your headphones on. Yeah.
Okay. She was such a mess, and the fact when they finally got together, even the first night they slept together, there was such humor involved with that. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. It was. I mean, and I love it when you can have supporting characters with their own personalities. Same with Seinfeld. This with Norm and Ratzenberger, who has probably been in every freaking Disney movie, within our era. It's been absolutely incredible. Let's see if Mike is ready for us here. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Jan Freeman is an incredible author on his own regard. We're gonna have him sit in. How you doing, brother?
Doing well.
Hey, Mike.
Good to see you. Every time I see you, you've lost more hair.
Yeah. But the good news is there's only so much I can lose.
Well, you still got your under your nose there and on your jaw. That can start flying out too. So, Mike, let me ask you. Can you give us?
I'm getting like two. Why is that?
Probably because you're not really plugged into your laptop.
I'm plugged in.
Can you hear me through your earphones there? Can you hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Can you hear me now? Right. Can you hear me?
I can, but it repeats.
Probably because your volume might be up a little high, because I think somehow it's coming out of something in your house, one of the speakers in your house, and going back into the mic.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
Yeah. So can you function nonetheless?
Oh. Can you hear us? Can you hear us talk?
Yes. Can you still function with the deficiencies there?
I can. You mean without them?
Well, I don't know. Can you function with them still in?
If I can take them out.
Well, go ahead, take them out and let's see what happens.
Okay, but I have to unplug.
You got. That is correct. Well, go ahead, take them out and let's see what happens.
Can you hear me?
Yes, but I am coming through your speakers, so I need you to turn your speakers down as low as you can.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Turn the speakers down.
Yeah. So I need you to turn your speakers down as low as you can.
Okay.
Oh, that's how our delay. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Leave studio. Okay.
Okay. You're
yeah. I'm still hearing a delay. I'm hearing you, and then I'm hearing you again, which is like a nightmare, actually. I didn't want to hear you the first time, and now I'm hearing you twice.
Michael, I always have these problems with you and this damn freaking.
First time, and now I'm hearing you twice.
Michael, I always have these problems with you.
Okay, I know what his problem is. Okay. So, Michael.
Not enough brand, I think.
No. Michael, where are you watching us on? Okay. Where are you watching us right now?
No. Michael.
Is it Facebook or is it on YouTube or whatever?
I'm on StreamYard.
Okay. No.
Oh, wait a second. Hang on.
Close your Facebook.
Yeah, close your Facebook or YouTube. There you go. See, and now it worked better.
Okay,
all right. Excellent. You literally had one of the programs up on your computer. You didn't turn it off.
There you go.
That was it.
Okay, there we go.
It usually happens from eating lead paint when you're younger.
As a child.
I don't. Yeah, that's after. That's the result. So you might want to get that checked out.
I often use that as an excuse.
Yeah, we know that, Michael. We know that. Now, we just spoke about Cheers. We just showed an episode of Cheers. Give me your impression of Cheers when you were watching that growing up as a little boy, because I know that was when you were a little boy when that came on.
Well, when I was a little boy watching Cheers with my wife.
Yeah.
We used to. It was illegal, but we were married, and we loved Cheers. Cheers was great, and of course, there really is a Cheers, or there was a Cheers.
Yes,
bar.
I've been there. I've been there.
I live northeast of Boston, so
Right.
So it's the Bull and Finch pub, right?
Yes, it is the Bull and Finch now.
Yeah, the Bull and Finch. Yeah, and it is a basement, so you do have to walk downstairs. And I did go in.
Oh, they made a fortune. They made a fortune off of this show. Trust me on this. It was just like you couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Okay, let me move on real quick. So stay with me, guys. So this next show, which is part of, give us the logo, Jerome. Give us the logo. Must See TV. That's what I was waiting for.
The Must See TV. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wow. There was.
Okay. So anyway, so this show came on between 1993 and 2004. And I love this show too, because I am anal about script writing, about
Whoa. You didn't tell me it was going to be like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what? We're not governed by the FCC here, so just hold on to your penile implant. So anyway, this is arguably, I love this show, arguably the best TV spinoff ever. Okay? I just love this show. I don't like what I'm about to read here. But this show followed Cheers, and it was about a snooty psychiatrist by the name of Fraser Crane, who was played by Kelsey Grammer, and the daily barrage of trials that came his way at work. He's a radio shrink, and at home, where he swaps highbrow jousts with his equally brilliant brother Niles, played by David Hyde Pierce, and his blue collar dad, played by John Mahoney. On paper, a show like Frasier could easily come across as condescending and insufferable, but when filtered through its terrific ensemble, it's pure snippy joy. Take a look, if you will, at Frasier. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Yep.
Think about pop psychiatry.
Yes, I know what you think about everything. When was the last time you had an unexpressed thought?
I'm having one now. Well, then we're agreed about what to do with Dad. Golden Acres. We care so you don't have to. I've got to run. I'm late for my dysfunctional family seminar. Dad, have you mentioned Eddie yet?
Eddie?
Ta-ta.
Miles, I can't thank you enough. I feel this overwhelming urge to hug you.
Remember what Mom always said, a handshake is as good as a hug.
Wise woman.
So, how's Father?
Father? You mean the man who's driving me crazy? The man who makes me dread the sight of my very doorstep. The man who just drove me out of my own home.
And how's work?
Thanks for the chat, Niles. You're a good brother and a credit to the psychiatric profession.
You're a good brother, too. But can we really get in? I've been trying for months.
Oh, please. Niles, you're forgetting the cachet my name carries in this town.
Actually, I'm not. If the maitre d' happens to be a housewife, we're in. Hello, I don't believe we've met.
Yes, we have, Niles, 3 or 4 times. Roz Doyle.
Oh, of course. It was at the, it was during the, oh, I'm far too successful to feel awkward. Where did we meet?
The radio station?
I'll take your word for it. Nice to see you again. Not very flattering, either. Toward the end, he even attacks your dim-witted sidekick call screener.
That's me.
Oh, now I remember you. Well, who knows why anybody does anything?
Remind me again what you do for a living. You see, the thing is, it was just one phone call. I mean, how can anyone make a sound judgment about another person on the basis of one phone call?
Remind me again what it is you do for a living?
The dog is eating the food. The pianist is too intrusive. The Pinot Noir is far too stagey. It's 7:05, and Martha isn't even here yet.
I'm not going to have to sedate you, am I?
They were all just good guests. They knew when to leave.
Well, I can show you all, but I won't, because there's 30. Okay, but that was basically focusing on Niles, which is his brother and in the same profession as him. Give me some comments about Frasier. What do you remember? What did you like? What did you dislike? Jerome, I'll let you go first.
I didn't watch the show, to be honest. I didn't care for the character when he was on Cheers. What I saw, I didn't care for. It's just a choice preference. And I watched other shows when it was on.
Understood. How about you, Rose?
I watched it a lot when I was pregnant and down and out, and I had to be in bed for a while, and it was a show that I never watched when it was on regularly, and when I started watching it, I don't know, I started having a really big affinity for it for a while. I haven't watched it in a very long time, but there for that short period of time, it was just like I couldn't wait to watch it. It's a very well written show. Yeah. It's the characters I don't really I they're not people that I would hang out with in real life. Okay.
No, neither will I. Yeah, absolutely.
But I guess that's why. I mean, but it was funny. At times.
It's always fun to make. It's always great to make fun of the other half, because that was literally a category that I did not fall in. Let me get the mic real quick. Mike, what did you think of Frasier?
Well, I was a little boy still at that time.
Yes, you were.
And so I didn't understand a lot of it, but I did watch it. You know what? One of the things that I had trouble coming to grips with was that they were in this town called Seattle, like there was going to be a town called Seattle.
I would have guessed, come on.
So I was able to suspend my disbelief that there was this guy, Frasier, and his brother and his father, who obviously came from an entirely different culture. But Seattle, come on.
Yeah, it was hard to believe that the dad, had spawned those two kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The dog alone was a character in itself.
Oh, I loved Eddie.
Loved Eddie. All right. Okay. So that was Frasier. I'm doing this right now.
What's funny though is that situation comedies have done the radio talk show thing in the past.
Right.
From Hello Larry to the one with Andy Dick I can't think of, and a whole mess of others. They've done that radio talk show thing as a comedy thing, and Frasier pulled it off. They pulled off the radio talk show career so much better than anyone else had ever even thought about doing.
What was his producer's name? Anybody?
Roz.
Right.
Yeah.
I was on a Star Trek cruise with her.
Oh, that's
really?
Cool.
Yeah, because she was accompanying Daniel Davis, who played Moriarty in some Next Generation episodes. I didn't know at the time who she was until like late into the cruise. And I'm like, well, you do know that's Roz from Frasier, don't you? I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So she was actually on the cruise with us for a week.
I also like the actress who was the chef and took care of the dad.
Right there on the left, far left, right? Yeah. What was her name? Quick, anybody?
It's escaping me at the moment, but I really liked her.
She was
Niall
British.
was in love with her. I think they eventually got married. Anybody?
She was British.
Yep, she was British. I keep trying to think of the actress's name, and I can't.
Daphne.
Yes.
Daphne. Yeah, it took a while, but it got it. All right, so that's Frasier. Okay, we got two more for you, and they're coming up to. Actually, we got three more, and then we're done, guys. But let me tell you about this show, okay? And we're going back a little bit in time. We're not going forward in years. We're actually going backwards. So let me tell you about this. So life in the Chicago projects is never easy. However, the Evans family never gives up trying to make the best of things. While Florida and James struggle to provide for their family, their sons, JJ, an aspiring painter, and Michael, the undying political crusader, cause trouble while their sister Thelma, oh my God, stands between them as the voice of reason. Living in the same building where Rolona Woods, Florida's best friend from high school, who provided support, love, and gossip, and Nathan Bookman, the overweight janitor who gave them grief and was the butt of a lot of fat jokes, especially Rolona, who often referred to him as Buffalo Butt or Booger. Life, at least, is never boring while they fight to keep their heads above water and one day leave the project, which they did in the series finale. Sadly, it was without James, who was killed off in the 4th season. If you don't know what the name of this show is, let me put it up on screen for you, and you guys can go crazy.
The differences we had on that show, and we had a number of differences, as evidenced by my early departure from the show, was I felt that with two other younger children, one of whom who aspired to become a Supreme Court justice, that would be Ralph Carter or Michael, and the other, Bernadette Stannis, I think, she aspired to become a surgeon. And the differences I had with the producers of the show was that I felt too much emphasis was being put on JJ and his chicken hat and saying dynamite every third page, when just as much emphasis and mileage could have been gotten out of my other two children and the concomitant jokes and humor that could have come out of that.
Okay, I wanted to play a short bit of that, and you can pretty much hear a little bit of his dissent. This is not old news. I think a lot of people realize, I won't call it a jealousy thing, but it's the creativity of the show and how you diminish the acting amongst all the other actors and focus basically on the catchphrase guy. Go ahead, Jerome.
Well, this happens all the time in shows. Somebody is written as the star, and you have a supporting character who's a breakout.
Like Urkel. Urkel on Family Matters.
Oh, absolutely, Urkel.
Oh yeah,
Flo from Alice.
Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan from Remington Steele is supposed to have been a supporting character for Stephanie Zimbalist. He goes on to become, Pierce Brosnan. It happens, and that's just the nature of the shows. And a lot of actors understand this and deal with it accordingly. And I'm not sure almost knew how to deal with that.
Mike, any comments?
Yeah, I'd never seen that clip before, or I'd never heard John Amos say that before. But I think that's really, I hadn't thought of it that way. But he's absolutely right. I mean, they took the low road when there was a lot more to be mined. Listen, if you're a writer and you're not feeling it that week, and you rely on JJ instead of a better story, that happens. But I think that's right. I think it could have been a better show.
Yeah, sorry, I went ahead a little too fast there. But you're absolutely right. And one of the most poignant episodes from Good Times is when Florida received the news that her husband had been killed. And the reaction alone is, believe it or not, it's the same kind of reaction that my mother, actually, no, not my mother, my grandmother would give that she had when she went damn like that. And it's like, oh my God, that's my grandmother. I literally can relate to these folks, not having been brought up in the projects, even though I was raised by a single mom. Much like Florida ended up being in this episode, we were never poor. We were literally middle class, believe it or not. My mother had a good job working in the factory, but the support system between my grandmother, my grandfather, my other set of grandmothers and grandfathers and grandfather, and my uncles and aunts, it was incredible. We didn't, although we can remember the fish sticks, we can remember the raviolis, we can remember all those kind of meals that we were having at home, thinking, hindsight being 20/20, it's like, man, we sure didn't get a lot of steak, But this is realistic TV. Norman Lear was an incredible master of all of this, which brings me to my next one, which has become one of the most all-time battle cry songs in all of TV sitcom history. And it's like, I hear it everywhere. I mean, you could walk down the street and some person could say a few lines, and all of a sudden, everybody's breaking out into song in this. This was actually incredible. But this ran between 1975 and 1988. One of the many hit spinoffs from the Norman Lear hit factory of All in the Family, this groundbreaking CBS series about an upwardly mobile African-American family presented a new kind of Black experience on the small screen years before the Cosby Show came along. As the short and short fuse, Manhattan dry cleaner George Jefferson, Sherman Hemsley is a coil of insecurity hiding beneath his blustering arrogance. Whether getting put in his place by his beloved wife Wheezy, played by Isabel Sanford, or his insubordinate housekeeper, Marla Gibbs, or his honky and Oreo neighbors, George is the classic little man who hilariously roars at the world in order to justify his place in it. One of my all-time favorites, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you're going to remember this. Okay. One admittance before you see this clip. Look at me, and I'm just going to say there was a time.
Well, I guess that leaves you and me.
Yeah, it's been a bad night all around, ain't it?
Well, don't just stand there, shorty. Get down.
Yeah, there was a time.
I want pictures of Mark dancing like that. I really do.
Yeah, it's too bad he did it when those like video cameras and telephone cameras didn't exist.
Thank God. There's no evidence. I'll tell you now. There is no. I went to a lot of freaking dances, a lot of high school parties.
Did you have the big afro too?
Yeah, I did. I actually did have a fro. But this also ensemble of characters here is well known. You can just go around the board here and looking at these pictures here, and everybody had a standout role when they were written into it, right down to George's mother, okay, who cracked me up. You know,
she's funny.
Didn't they have to write her out because the actress passed away or something?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Probably so. She was already old.
I think so.
Yeah, Mike, did you watch the Jeffersons?
I did. And you know you know, of course it had its origins in All in the Family, and you know, on those few occasions when you saw George and Carol O'Connor in the same scene, you know, that was gold. That was great because these two curmudgeons going at each other. That was really great.
Yeah, that was gold. That series was fantastic. That series was gold, and it wasn't must-see TV, but it was actually CBS, I think.
It was.
It was.
Yeah.
CBS who carried that, but I absolutely love that. Okay, we're down to our final one. Thank you guys for being patient, but this is the King of Kings, and like I like to say this first. There's so many sitcoms we can cover in one of our classic television showdowns that we will in the future. Maybe Rose and Jerome will get their list of 10 or 11s and do their own show on some of the sitcoms to pick up where I left off. But this one could not be left out because it is the king of all shows. And I'm just going to start off by reading my text here by saying the most brilliant TV satire of all time was created by Norman Lear. All in the Family reinvented what a TV show could say and be about. It pushed the envelope and turned a modest 30-minute formula into something revolutionary, airing out our fractured nation's divisions and wounds. That may sound heavy, but thanks to Carol O'Connor's Archie, Gene Stapleton's Edith, Rob Reiner's Meathead, and Sally Struthers' Gloria, All in the Family, and its complicated protagonist delivered bitter medicine that went down like sugar. And this clip that I'm about to show you guys is a prime example of the sugar he indeed got. So take a look at this, guys. As soon as I get it up.
Oh, yeah.
You see that? You can't learn him nothing. There's Munson with the briefcase now there, Sammy. I'll let him right in.
Oh, hi, Arch.
Munson, we're waiting for you. Where were you?
I'm sorry I took so long, Arch, but I bumped into Barney Hefner with his camera, so naturally I had to go back and get mine. Mr. Davis, this is an unexpected pleasure.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Can I get a picture,
No,
Mr.
no,
Davis?
come on, Munson, no pictures. Oh, no, this one is for me. Mr. Munson, would you stand over there? I want one picture taken with Archie Bunker, my friend, and me. You and me? Yes. Now, on three, okay? 1, 2, 3. What the hell? He said it was in his contract.
Ladies and gentlemen, love thy neighbor, right? I think so. Give me some thoughts on All in the Family, guys, and what you thought of it.
Who first?
Mike. Mike, I'll let you go first.
All in the Family, when that first came out, it was everything. People were, it went beyond popular. It was a touchstone for controversy. Everybody watched it. Most people, I think, were entertained by it and were glad to see that kind of stuff could be aired. And then there was people who really wanted nothing to do with it. There were Archie Bunkers in the world who really didn't want that show to be on, right. and never appreciated the irony, I think.
Right.
But I love that show. It was very, very well acted. It's a sitcom, so people, their standards were low. But when you think about the actors and actresses on that show, they were accomplished people, and they did a spectacular job.
The interesting thing about that show is that Archie was an ignorant racist. Okay, we didn't consider him dangerous. Basically, he was just ignorant. He was just stupid, and the things that came out of his mouth in relation to the world's problems and things of that nature was just hilarious. It was great fodder, but we knew that he wasn't dangerous, and he probably would save the life of an African American if they ever went into a lake in a car. Archie was not that level of racism that we are actually trying to expunge from this world. We just need to do to Archie what Sammy Davis did to him. That's all we need to do to those type of people. Go ahead, Jerome.
When I saw All in the Family, I caught it about 72, about the second season on for about 5 or 6 seasons. And I'll be honest, as a kid, it went right over my head when I was a kid. I did not get a lot of what they were talking about until I got older and started to understand some of it. I saw buttons that said Archie Bunker for president back in 72. There was all sorts of aspects of this show that it played on different levels. Like you said, it had message, on a number of things. But it also was really good comedy. The one that bugged me was the rape episode.
Yes.
Okay.
It should have bugged you. That was his intention.
Yeah, and that's my point, is what I'm saying, though, is here you have a situation comedy, and they did an episode on rape, and they didn't pull punches.
Nope.
They didn't make it funny.
We saw Edith in a level of fear that we've never seen Edith show.
Anybody at that level.
And she could have been fearful to Archie because of things he says, whatever, but she was, dim-witted, and, she loved her husband and things of that nature, but that reality came to play, and I remember watching it live. I watched it.
Oh, I saw it too. I did too, and it was such a powerful episode that it stuck with me even to today. You're talking about how long ago it was, but you also you had some of the other stuff where Archie's dreaming about having written the letter to Nixon, and Nixon reads the letter at a press conference, or whatever. Here we have that chair that he is sitting in now sits in the Smithsonian.
Yes. Yes,
You know?
absolutely. And I'm happy to say I've seen it too.
Yeah.
Mike, tell me your thoughts of All in the Family.
It's interesting. I was just thinking about it was really, you call it a sitcom, which I guess technically it is, but it was really a show with a message that used humor to get the message across. You can tell by that episode where Edith was raped. The it was more message than sitcom.
Yep.
It's just that they were so good at it that
Yeah.
it went down easy. But the message was the thing. And it had kind of had antecedents in a way, not in that format, but if you looked at like the Smothers Brothers
Yeah.
and their show as a variety show, they were starting to pave that road. But Norman Lear couldn't have done that a year earlier.
Yeah.
Right.
Just at that moment.
You also those All in the Family also came out about the same time MASH did too. So you're seeing a whole change in the television landscape.
Yeah. It's funny you guys are bringing this up, and it just struck something in my brain. I got an idea. One of our shows we're gonna do, whether I do it, whether you guys do it. One of our shows we're gonna do a show on laughing. Okay.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna do a show on laughing. Talking about the political banter that goes on during one of those shows. I'm sure the kids today watching that would be scratching their heads, where you, Jerome, was scratching your heads when they were talking about rape back in those days. Now it's the flip side here. It's like, okay, guys, this is our childhood here. This is what we had to grow up with, So, excuse me, Rose, your turn. What did you think?
The show was brilliant. It was groundbreaking for television. It really changed the way sitcoms were looked at and the narrative. I thought it was just brilliant, but that show wouldn't have been, I don't think, without Carol O'Connor and Gene Stapleton. That show would not have been what it is, and they worked so well together, and you could just tell they had this like love or affinity for each other. They worked off each other so well, and it's just it's a classic, and I think even though some of the stuff's dated because it was a show of its time, even though you could still watch it today and still get a lot out of it.
It's really interesting. I mean, we're all fans of nostalgic TV, and that's what this show is about. Do you guys remember movies that Carol O'Connor was in prior to All in the Family? One comes to mind to me that he was the lunatic general in Dr. Strangelove and How I Learned to Love the Bomb. He was a crazy general in that. Go ahead, Jerome, what you got?
Wasn't he also the crazy general in Kelly's Heroes?
Yes, he was. He was very good. One of my favorite movies too, because I'm such a war buff.
I don't recall him as a general in Dr. Strangelove. I remember George C. Scott, but I don't recall Carol O'Connor in there.
I remember him in that only because it was black and white, and I remember seeing Carol O'Connor in black and white. I gotta go look it up. Yeah, please do that. But tell me off air later, okay?
Yeah, I will.
But Carol O'Connor, that's what I remember. Of course, Kelly's Heroes. I think I remember him as something else, but I'm thinking that just to be interviewed, okay, for his part in All in the Family, what Norman Lear had to tell him, how he had to describe the character that he was looking for, and how did Carol O'Connor feel. And I'm sure they're probably in interviews somewhere, Jack Parr shows or Johnny Carson, whatever, where he probably described his feeling of portraying Archie Bunker, because that's his standout, his flagship role, basically that. So
afterward he played the sheriff in The Heat of the Night.
Yeah.
Right. Which in a way, it deals with the same kind of tensions, right?
You're right. It was like a lateral.
Yeah.
It was like a lateral move, but it was actually backwards, because he lived in the North in All in the Family, but he digressed into the South,
Right, and that was originally a Rod Steiger
Rod Steiger role, which I saw the movie
Sidney Poitier, yeah.
Sidney Poitier, that's right. So yeah. Hey guys, we are at our 90-minute time, even though we try to do an hour, but this just got so interesting to me, and I cannot pull up every single sitcom. It'll take a year to get through that just on this show alone. But I enjoyed the fact that Michael Jan Friedman joined us for this.
Thank you for coming on.
Come on,
Listen,
thank you.
I knew I would have a good time, and I needed a good time. So.
And Michael, next time we'll try to pick some shows more, during your era, 20s and 30s, and maybe you could tell us a little bit. Yeah, you could tell us a little bit of what that was like growing up watching, those kind of shows and stuff like that.
Maybe he'd like to do a show. Maybe he'd like to come
Michael,
on and do a show.
you should do a show,
Host
dude.
a show.
You should do your own show with us. You pick a topic, whether it's sitcoms, give me some topics, Jerome, whether it's
different producers, crime dramas, Cold War.
Rose did old attorney shows, from Perry Mason to some shows I've never heard of before. But that's how we get our education. But you pick 10 shows you want to talk about.
And they don't have to be shows because I did commercials.
Yeah, I did game shows. So there's so much to talk about.
We did game shows. We did the
Garrett did variety shows.
Yeah, and just pick a show. Classic Television SmackDown is the name. And
by the way,
ever want to host,
Mike, classic is anything pre-2000.
Yeah, that's true. Anything pre-2000. Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's great because I haven't watched TV since 2000. So.
But when you were watching TV, that exactly fits what this show is all about, okay? So anytime you pick 10 shows, you send me a list, I download the clips for you, and you come on and you go to town. You start talking just like you saw us do tonight, your own show. We love to have you. There's no pay.
That sounds like fun.
It is. There's no pay involved. Okay, so I hope that doesn't break our contract right now.
Well, you know what they say: you get what you pay for. So. Yeah.
And by the way, your dressing room is actually the broom closet.
Right. Now, his dressing room is that. Oh, wait a minute. Your dressing room is that way. Yeah. So and bring some hair so you can wear hair on the show. Okay.
Hey, wait a minute. Who was the boss? Who was this TV star on the Dick Van Dyke Show?
Who is the star?
Alan Brady.
Alan Brady. There you go. You can do the Alan Brady thing.
Oh, the Alan Brady thing. Right.
That was a great.
Like 4 or 5. He had 4 or 5.
That was a great
Hey guys, we went through Dick Van Dyke so fast that I did not get to tell you something.
I don't know if you can see this.
Oh, hold on.
You see behind me? These are my hats.
Those are your hats?
Those are my hats.
I like your hat.
I see.
That's kind of Alan Brady-esque, right?
Keep the sun off. I get it. So you don't get a head burn. I get it. But Rose has something she wants to tell us about Dick Van Dyke. Go ahead, Rose.
Yes. I was named after Rosemary, but they put it wrong on my
there you go.
It was supposed to be all one word because my dad loved Rosemary from the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Oh my God!
Wow,
that's who I'm actually named after.
I was named after a TV star as well. I'm serious. I was when.
Let me guess. Hold on. Don't say anything, Mike. Mike, hold on, Mike.
I forget the name of the show, but it was a game show, and the host was Jan Murray. You might remember Jan Murray, right? My parents were looking for a name that started with a J to name me after my great-grandfather, whose name was Jacob. So they said, "Well, we need a J. John, Joe." And then they said they're watching this show, and they said, "Jan Murray, that's it. We'll name him Michael Jan." Well, it turns out that Jan Murray's real name is Murray Janowski. But I am named after him.
Wait a minute. I thought you were named after Michael Jan Vincent.
That's Jan Michael Vincent.
Okay.
Hey, honestly though, Mike, you were my second favorite Brady kid. Okay. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you know what, Mark? I loved you on I Dream of Jeannie. You were the best.
Is he talking to me?
He's talking to me.
Okay, I didn't know I was on Jeannie.
Actually, I got to tell you something. Jan
Yeah,
was
please.
my favorite. I didn't care how big a bitch she was.
Oh,
I
really?
just thought she was wonderful.
Yeah, she was.
Wait a minute.
She was.
talked about
She
the
was
girls
middle.
here.
She's the middle child, like me. I'm the middle child, so I can relate to Jan.
So we talked about the girls here. Rose,
Yeah.
who did you like on the Brady Bunch?
I like Peter.
Peter.
Ooh.
Also the middle child, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the middle
Yeah,
child.
he
the
had
middle
he
children
had
rock.
a fun sense of humor, you know.
Yeah, the middle children was pork chops and applesauce. You know, the middle children rock. You know,
I'm sorry,
so.
I'm Greg. You know, I'm the oldest, so
Greg is cool. I really like
thank
Greg.
you. I'm cool too. So you know.
Yes, you are. And Greg was that's why we put you up in the attic. So yeah. So,
how ironic is it? How ironic is it? We thought, oh, the Brady Bunch, that's so 70s, right? And here we are on like a Zoom conference, looking like the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Poking you in your head there, Mike. Oh, wrong way, Mike. There you go. Wrong way, Mike. No, other way, Mike. The other way.
There you sounds like my honeymoon.
I don't know how they didn't get whiplash doing all this.
I know. This is yeah, but we just need Alice in the middle right now. Well, look, this was fabulous. I had a great time doing this. There will be a part 2. This was part
there's gotta
1.
be. There's so many freaking
sitcoms out there. My God, I want to do. Mike, you know My Mother the Car, right?
Yes, of course. Jerry Van Dyke.
Yes, there you go. Jerry Van Dyke. Yes, that's Dick Van Dyke's brother.
There's lots of them to do. There's also those that only showed up for a season and disappeared that we've all not talking about. You know,
it's about time.
It's about
JJ
time.
and the Governor.
Oh, that one I've never heard of.
Oh, dude, you got to look that one up.
JJ and the Governor. Okay.
What was there was one that was at a military academy. What was it called?
Military? Oh, not Phil Silver's show. No.
It was a kid at a military academy. It was a sitcom.
Oh, I got to look that one up.
Yeah. See, there's some I've never even heard of.
Somebody in the something, I think. McKeever and the Colonel, something like that.
Oh my God! Wow.
Oh, I think I've heard of that. That's like in the 60s or something.
Yeah.
McKeever and the Colonel. He's right.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that one before. Who's
Neither
the
have
star
I.
in it? Who's the star in it?
Let's see here. Who's the star? Scott Lane.
In the 60s. It was before there were stars.
Yeah, there's no recognizable name in that cast list, Jerome.
That's what I'm looking now. Let's see here. Jackie Corrigan.
Oh, you know who he was? One of the Outgang kids, right?
Yeah.
Was he? Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see here. Scott Lane, Alan Jocelyn, Jackie Corrigan, Elizabeth Frazier, John McGiver.
Oh, John McGiver.
He was. We've seen him in other things.
Have you ever seen the James Stewart movie where they went on vacation to the shore?
Sounds terrifying.
John McGiver was in The Manchurian Candidate. Ooh.
Yeah, he was also he was in that movie with James Stewart. I love that movie. It's a great comedy. You guys got to look it up. It's a great Jimmy Stewart movie. What's John Wayne's go-to girl in all his westerns?
She's a redhead. Maureen O'Hara?
Bravo. Maureen O'Hara.
You know, I know what movie you're talking about, Mark, but I haven't seen it in so long.
Yes. I watch it every time it comes on, Rose.
I have not seen that film in probably 30 years. I know exactly what film you're talking about.
John Saxon played one of his sons.
You're kidding me. Oh, my goodness.
It is a great movie.
Nancy's dad from Nightmare playing a boy.
It's a great Saturday afternoon movie.
I'll tell you about Dean Stockwell later, Rose.
Yeah, Dean Stockwell, boy with the green hair. Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, look, we can talk about, sitcoms until we get blue in the face.
We can talk all night, man. All right.
Yeah. For us, you guys won't see us till around about the 15th of January.
We have a show tomorrow.
we still have 3 more shows this weekend. Thank you. That's one of my favorite John Wayne movies too. McClintock. You spelled McClintock wrong.
Hey, Brandy said The Man Who Knew Too Much.
Yeah, that's not the movie, but I know that movie.
I know that movie too.
That movie's very good.
Yeah, he was very good.
But you're talking about a comedy, and it's killing me that I don't remember what the name of it is.
Mr. Hobbs Takes a Vacation.
Takes a Vacation, yes.
That's the name of the movie.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Hobbs Take a Vacation.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
So you're as an architect, I want you to go watch Mr. Batherley Builds His Dream House.
Watched it a billion times. Watched it a billion times. I'm sitting here going, oh my God, all the lumber they're using. Nobody can afford that house. And I think he only paid, I don't know, $8,000 for the house or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
You know, but great movie. So, Mike, you got to think up a show you want to do.
Yeah.
We'll schedule you in. No rush. It's up to you. Clearly up to you. Think of 10 shows. You can find the clips yourself on YouTube and just send me the links to them, and I'll just play them when you tell me to play them, and you can talk like we did in between each clip.
Okay. All right.
So,
good.
you know, yeah. So choose a classic. We should put you on like Saturday morning cartoon for Star Trek, the animated series show.
Oh, him and I would talk because that's where I met Mike. Was a convention. Cornered him in an elevator for an autograph, and he signed it.
No, he was laying in the gutter in New York when I walked past him, and I just kind of picked him up and brushed him off and
you
gave
know,
him some soup.
in your infinite kindness, you resurrected my life, and I'll never forget it.
I did. He was saying all of these quips, and I said, you know what? You ought to write these down. And there it started. That was it. That was the beginning.
That was it. Yeah.
You ought to write these down. It was a pleasure, Mike. Good seeing you again as
Yeah,
always.
good seeing
buddy.
you guys.
Thank you.
All of you.
You too.
And you guys, if you're watching this right now, remember we have Saturday morning cartoons at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's not early, because some of you guys get up earlier than that just to go to work. So you might as well stick with the routine and come watch us. What is the topic for tomorrow again, Rose?
It is Christmas shows, old and new. We're going to do Christmas cartoons. Some that some people asked for last week. I put them in, even though we've done them before. And then we're going to see some stuff that I don't think we've seen before. So should be fun.
It's not that one. I didn't get the banner up. Sorry about that. Yeah. So, and of course, tomorrow afternoon we're going to have kids on. We're going to ask them all kinds of questions. Everybody's invited to submit. And listen to these kids. They're all under 9 years old, right, Jerome?
Mine's 8.
Yours is 8, right? They're all under 9 years old, so they're going to be incredible to listen to tomorrow. But for everyone else who has watched us tonight talking about sitcom comedies, I hope
Here's one of them.
It. Hey, Gwen, there's one of our actresses for tomorrow.
Wave.
Hi, be ready tomorrow. She'll be on.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and sign off. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Classic Television SmackDown. I hope you guys enjoyed the evening. We will see you tomorrow morning, okay?
Out of the blue of the western sky comes Sky King. As we say here in the West.